What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Draymond Green Show. As always, our top of the show is here on Amazon app. So wherever you're listening or watching the show, I thank you. Let's get straight into it. And also for our subscribers out there, you will be able to check this out anytime you want, wherever you get your podcast. But let's get right into it. Dubs was on a 5-game win streak, I think, and have dropped the last 2 on the road. Go figure. The road woes continue. A commonly asked question is, why can't you guys win on the road? And a common answer I want to give is, if I knew that, don't you think I would correct that? Quite frankly, I think, and I've said this before, I think winning on the road requires an incredible amount of mental strength. And it's not just one guy's mental strength. It's not 2 guys or a few guys. It's a collective mental strength as a team. And quite frankly, it just seems that we have not reached that as a team, to be as great as we are at home and as bad as we are on the road. Like, it just does not make sense. Like, it's like fragileness 101. So 101. So it's weird, man. It's weird. And it's like every time you feel like you're taking that next step, it's kind of 2 steps back. Like even the Lakers game, we didn't shoot particularly well, but I didn't think we were awful. And yet you lose. And then last night just kind of is what it is. In this league, you have to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And Shea had a great game. Giddey had a great game. Lou Dort did what Lou Dort does. They played really well. You got to give those guys some credit. Jalen Williams, the bigger Jalen Williams, had a really good game. Dario played well off the bench. So you just got to give guys credit. They made plays. It was very weird games from some things I've never seen before in my life. But yeah, they won, and the road struggles continue. It's been great to have Steph back the last 2 games, though. And when you get such a big force back, it does take time, like filling back in around that and kind of feeling your way through it. And saying that, not so sure, should have equaled in 2 losses, especially as great as he's been playing in his return. It's unfortunate. It's very frustrating to say the least. In such a stacked Western Conference, log jam, right where we stand. Like I said, you just really got to win the games that you're supposed to win. And quite frankly, we've dropped the ball. So it's time to get that right tomorrow night in Memphis. As I sit in my Memphis hotel room, now let's discuss Memphis. The NBA stretch run is upon us. Huge matchups across the league as my Dubs and I battle with the teams in the West for playoff position. Going to be a lot of fun on TV, but what if you could actually be at some of these games? For last-minute amazing deals on tickets, not just the Dubs, but your favorite NBA team, check out Game Time, the fastest-growing ticketing app in the U.S. And it doesn't stop with the NBA. Game Time has tickets to the NHL, NCAA basketball games, even concert and comedy shows too. So if you're in Dallas and want to see Kyrie, Luka, and the rest of the Mavs come together, Game Time has your seats. If you're in Philly and want to see Joel Embiid and crew be the 3rd Philadelphia team this year to make a championship run, Game Time has your seats. Or you want to see Chris Rock anytime soon, download the Game Time app and redeem code GREEN for $20 off your first purchases. Terms apply. Again, download the Game Time app and enter code GREEN. That's GREEN for $20 off. No matter where you live, get out and have some fun this week. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. A lot of things went on with Memphis since we last spoke. Brandon Clark, I wish him a very speedy recovery. I never want to see anyone get injured. That's just, I always tell people like I've seen fans cheer when someone get injured and different things of that nature. You live those injuries every day. Like you don't leave a basketball court and like that injury that you have is just left on the basketball court and you can't play. Like you live that every single day. Getting up off the couch, getting in and out of a car, going to use the restroom, getting in and out of bed. He will live that Achilles injury every single day, and I don't wish that on anyone. So, speedy recovery to Brandon Clark. He's very promising young player. Hate to be this guy, but I'm happy he secured his bag. And you don't have that worry on your head. I can only imagine what's going through his mind had he not gone ahead and signed his extension. So, that is a silver lining, that you don't have that pressure to try to fix it right away. Like, no, you can go through the proper rehab process and get back strong as possible so it doesn't happen again. And so, like I said, speedy recovery to Brandon Clark. In related news to Memphis, the same day, Dillon Brooks was suspended for a game for technical fouls. When it rains, it pours. And in related news, I think the same day, the idiot said something about me in his article, which I thought was very interesting. Raymond Ritter, best PR guy in the NBA, happens to work for Dubs. He sent me this thing, and he's like, hey, man, this writer reached out. He said, Dillon Brooks said this about you, and he's giving you a chance to respond. Quite frankly, if I was going to respond, it's going to be right here on the Draymond Green Show. But I just wasn't really even sure when I received that, like, if it was worth the response. What I will say is, this idiot said, I don't know what Draymond does out there. Matter of fact, let me run this back. He said, I don't like Draymond at all. You don't know me. That's number one. I just don't like Golden State. I quite frankly wouldn't like a team that beats me all the time either. That's number two. I don't like anything to do with them. Quite frankly, you were a little kid in high school watching us win championships. Should be happy that you even witnessed that, or maybe college, but you get the point. You're a fan. So that's crazy. Draymond talks a lot. I think if you have four, you talk a lot now. So if you have 4 rings, sure, you talk a lot more. For All-Stars, you probably talk a bit more. Defensive Player of the Year, you for damn sure would talk more. Need I say more? 2 Olympic gold medals? You definitely would be talking, because that would mean you beat Team USA, and we all know how that goes. So, okay, understand that. Okay, got it. Gets away with a lot too. What exactly do I get away with? I have 15 texts, 1 less than your dumb ass. Okay, great. His game is cool. If you ever wondered why the Memphis Grizzlies is not ready to compete for a championship, look no further than this idiot right here. They're actually depending on this guy to help them win a championship. And he says his game is cool. Quite frankly, that just shows how little you know about basketball. And that's where it gets really interesting. Because it's one thing for a fan to say that. Quite frankly, I expect them to. Most of them don't really understand the game. You have the understanding of, like, your level of understanding the game of basketball is at a fan level. And yet you running around talking about a dynasty? The dynasty starts after you, not with you. And that's just a fact. I know dynasty-like players, and they aren't clowns. That doesn't work when building a dynasty. Take it from me. I actually know. Clowns don't work building a dynasty, my man. So you know, he plays with heart, knows the ins and outs of the defense. I want to be quite frank, I made the ins and outs of our defense. Like, kind of like a middle linebacker, you know, improvise, read the situation and react. You follow the stay at home and strong side corner. You follow, you should go there. You follow that guy should trap the box. I don't do that. That's where you went wrong at. But quite frankly, you have the level of understanding of a fan of the game of basketball. Some fans have a deeper understanding, but for the majority, that level of understanding isn't the same. It's kind of like a lot of media. It's very lazy. It's very, very, very lazy. So I guess that's why they like him over there. I'm trying to figure out why they like you in Memphis. Or do they like you in Memphis? That's a better question. I'm not sure your teammates like you. Doesn't lead to winning. I mean, we won some regular season games. But I can tell you why they like me over there. When you contribute in the way that I have contributed to 4 championships, they tend to like you. Because quite frankly, 4 championships, there's 4 NBA organizations that have the amount of championships I have. That's why they like me over there. Not including the organization that I've won my 4 with. That's why they like me though, kid. So, next time you speak up on me, you should do some fact checking. Next time you speak up on me, you should do some soul searching. Next time you speak up on me, I hope you're in a better situation than you in now, where the guys you play with actually enjoy playing with you because they actually think you're contributing to winning. Because it ain't happening right now, champ. You're not a champ. You're a clown. It ain't happening for you. So before we get out of here, we have to talk about the biggest news in the NBA. I have sat back and watched, plenty of people speak up on this situation, tons of different opinions. And quite frankly, I have a few thoughts about it. Number one is it's unfortunate to see Ja on Instagram Live holding a gun in a club. Like, I quite frankly don't understand why. But on the flip side, I ask for grace. And being in this situation, being in this position that we're in, oftentimes when guys make a mistake, you see people saying, oh man, get rid of them. Like, take their money away, do this, do that. But when common folks make the same mistakes or worse, people don't run to their jobs saying, you should take their livelihood away. You should take how they feed their children away. And so I just ask for that same grace, not only for basketball players, but for people in general, because it's really something that in the world that we live in, we struggle with it dramatically. We're so fast to cast doubt. To cast judgment. And very slow to cast out some grace. And sometimes you just need that. Sometimes you turn on something, you pick up your phone, and you see all of these things about what should happen to you, and they're all bad. And sometimes you just need that grace because and the reality is we all make mistakes. And so that's one side of it. It's just grace, like having grace. And it's not even necessarily that it's this incident in particular. This is just overall about having grace, having some grace. Quite frankly, guns in this country has been a big issue. We know the history. We know all the things that's going on. It's been a big issue, and we can't ignore that. And so being in the position that Ja Morant's in, which is an amazing position, you do have to be more careful, and you do have to understand the position that you're in and understand what that comes with. Ja clearly didn't do a good job of that. When I look at this situation and I look at me, who I am, and the things that I've gone through in my life, my biggest regret in the NBA is this. I know most people will think it's being suspended from Game 5 of the NBA Finals, and that's not quite it. It has something to do with being suspended from Game 5 of the NBA Finals, but being suspended from Game 5 is not my biggest regret. My biggest regret was giving those that say things about me that don't know me, but think they do because they watch you on a TV screen, watch you play basketball. They say these things about you as if they know you, and they don't know you from a can of paint. And my biggest regret was putting myself in a position to be suspended from Game 5 and allowing them to say, see, I told you. I told you he can't control his temper. I told you he was a bad person. Like, people call me a bad person. I think I'm an incredibly great person. I told you you can't trust him. I told you this. I told you that. I told you this. That was my biggest regret. I hope when Ja looks back at this situation down the line, he learns to not put himself in situations that people can say, I told you so. If you rewind back to the last couple of weeks, there was a story about the Indiana Pacers and a laser or a beam. And then there was also a story recently, as of last week, about a 17-year-old, Ja getting into it with a 17-year-old, punching him or something, and having a gun in his waistband. Both of those stories, there was no way to confirm that there was a gun involved. You just put yourself in a position to where they could say, see, I told you he had a gun. I told you so. And that sucks. That sucks. Because pretty much everything that's been said about you, you validated almost and allowed people to say it. And you're now guilty until proven innocent. And that sucks. Because quite frankly, the court of public opinion, you are guilty until proven innocent. And even once you're proven innocent in certain situations, not sure that this will be that situation, but in certain situations, even when you're proven innocent, no one cares. And as loud and as big as it showed up, it quietly passed through the bottom when you're proven innocent. Because that's the world that we live in. I saw a lot of slander about Ja Morant, an African-American man who raised a young, successful African-American son. I saw a lot of slander. Ja Morant is ridiculous. It's this, it's that. As if he did not raise a successful son, a successful young man. There's shots taken on him as a father. He did his job. He raised a successful young man, black man in America. Catch that caveat. A successful young black man in America. He did his job. Ja is a father himself. Ja is a grown man who makes a bunch of money. That adds an even another layer, because we all know how breadwinners work. We all know that thing. So that adds an even another layer. Would you hope that T's pulling him aside saying, Ja, stop this, stop that, what is this, what is that? Absolutely. And just like I'm not sure that he hasn't, None of you who's taking shots at him as a father who's raised a successful young man aren't sure he hasn't either. You'd hope so. But quite frankly, can he control a grown man? Raised him or not? You ask yourself the question, can your dad control everything you do? As a grown man? I'd be willing to bet the answer is no. So the fact that this man is getting so much slander and all he did was raise a successful young black man is baffling to me. It's given very LeVar Ballish. Are they outspoken? Yeah. Are they in front of the camera? Yeah. They should be. They did the unthinkable. They raised successful young black men in America. So I don't really agree with the slander of T. Morant. I think it's ridiculous. Again, Ja is a grown man. Ja makes his own decisions. And Ja got to stand on those decisions. I'm not going to get on here and say, that ain't you, Ja. Like people getting on TV. That ain't you. As if they know him. Why is it not him? Because he plays basketball? You don't know him. You don't know if that's him. And I'm not going to say that because when people go on and say it, they're almost saying it in a soft manner. Like, you soft. You ain't like that. But how do you know? Because you don't know him. What I will say is Ja can't be him and be what he's capable of being, which is possibly the face of the NBA. The biggest global brand, one of the biggest global brands known to man. You got a chance to be the face of that. That's insane. It's incredible. But you can't do it like that. You can't do that putting the NBA in tough spots because nothing happened with the Pacers thing. Nothing really happened with the thing coming out about the kid. And then the same day you show the gun? Hey, everybody, you remember what they were saying about me? Look, come on. But I am not here to pass judgment because I have made mistakes. I will make more mistakes. I am not going to get on here and ask for this man's livelihood to be taken. I am not going to get on here and do any of that. I'm going to get on here and I'm going to ask for grace. And I'm going to say, if that is what you want, Ja, to be the face of the NBA possibly, to be a star, to build dynasties, to do all the things that you spoke about doing, you can't do it that way. That ain't going to work. Just got a shoe from Nike. That ain't going to work. Kids buy shoes. Kids. Shoes are bought for kids. Parents buy shoes for their children. But sneaker sales are driven by children. Those two things don't go together. So you have to make a decision of what it's going to be. The decision is up to Ja, nobody else. The decision's up to Ja. And I pray that he learned from it. So I feel like this is one of those things that is just bad enough where he'll get through it and he'll be fine. But it's just enough to make you make a decision, to make you say, I'm choosing this path or that path. It's just enough. It's just enough. But I tell you what, you can't be the face of the NBA putting the NBA in harm's way. You can't be the face of the NBA putting the NBA in a tough spot. LeBron James don't put the NBA in a tough spot. Steph Curry don't put the NBA in a tough spot. The list goes on and on. You cannot be the face, putting the NBA in a tough spot. Understand that, and understand the privilege that it is to be the face of the NBA. To even, like, for that to even be a possibility is incredible. And it's being thrown away. A team competing at a championship level, number 2 seed in the West. It's being thrown away. It's hard to win championships. I told y'all, you don't just win championships because your roster looked like you should or could. So many things have to go right. When the pressure is on you, all of a sudden the eyes are on you and you're expected to do well. What do? That all goes into winning championships. That's a big part of winning championships. It's all being thrown away right now. You don't get these opportunities often. Make the right choices. Take advantage of the opportunity because you do not know if it's coming back around. Injuries happen, trades happen, ownership groups change. Take advantage of it when you got it. It's a wrap from this episode of the Draymond Green Show. Peace. What's up, everybody? It's Draymond Green. Make sure you subscribe to the Volumes YouTube channel below so you don't miss any more of this great content going forward.